Hey everybody, back for more. Thanks for tuning in for another cruise with Smooth. Today I want to talk about guys. There has been a lot of talk going on about toxic masculinity, and I think that there is such a thing, but it's not what you think. I personally think that toxic masculinity is not the guys are disgusting pigs and women can be better than them and women don't need men and blah blah blah. My personal opinion is that masculinity turns toxic when there isn't a healthy role model to show a dude how to be a dude. Or when the role model believes all this crap from the gender theory studies and tries to make that their example to their kid. The reason why I say that, I know a lot of guys that are among the manliest men that I've run across. Buddy of mine, he's a retired Marine preacher now, which I think is awesome. And he loves frog gigging, deer and boar hunting. We were talking the other day, and he's talking about putting together a roughing it camp, going out into the woods with nothing but a sleeping bag, having to build your own shelter to stay out of the elements. All the stuff, basically just taking a bunch of guys out into the woods with sleeping bags and teaching them how to do just that. So, pretty cool guy. He's also one of the most gentle people I know as far as his overall attitude. The way he interacts with people, he's very approachable, very personable. And I've called him on a whim about stuff that I just needed to vent to someone about, and he's there and available to talk to and easy to talk to. And I've met his father before, and he's a quieter version of his son. Probably just because his son's a preacher. But this guy, he's handy in a lot of things. Give you another case in point. My dad, he knew how to work on stuff. He knew how to build guitars, instruments, make electronic repairs, which that ventures off into nerdy, but you get my point. And he taught me how to be good with my hands as far as working. There's a old tractor that I have that has been in the family for 3 generations at this point. It's old, but it has no hours on it as far as how old it is. Anyone that's familiar with equipment like that knows that they don't measure miles, they measure hours. Because a lot of times you won't be moving it at all, but you'll be running the engine wide open to use the PTO shaft for power takeoff, to power a thing, be it a hay baler, a drill, a water pump, something. And so you might be running the engine hard doing a mile an hour, but you're still working it, so you need to measure in hours, not in miles. This tractor's 60-ish years old and has 2,000 some odd hours on it. 2,300 hours. There are years that it's got like 20 hours put on it at most. There are some years it's had even less than that put on it. Last year it didn't move because I've been trying to fix and diagnose a problem on it while I'm not at work. But back to the tractor, my granddad did a lot of work on it himself. My granddad hung garage doors after he got done with the war and made a decent enough living at it. Him and one of his buddies did garage doors in new construction, and also they did maintenance and repair in older construction, as well as installation of the openers in garages that had manual doors. My granddad worked on that tractor. He had to fix a couple problems. I know that he modified it a little bit, put a really nice toolbox on the front of it that's just handy as all get out. He put a set of tires on it himself, which that is no small feat to put those big 4.5 foot tall tires on. They're heavy. And then my dad had to fix a problem in it. I'm going to delve off the deep end of mechanically nerdy here. It's an old diesel tractor. The return line was cracked and leaking fuel, and it had a faulty injector or two on it, and it wasn't running right. So he got those replaced. Thing was running like a top, and oddly enough getting better fuel economy because the return line wasn't leaking fuel. Now it's my turn, and I think this one I may have brought on myself. I was topping the fuel tank off, and I used an older diesel can, and I ended up getting a bunch of in the fuel system, clogged up the fuel filters, the inlet screens, and all this, that, and the other, and basically a bunch of no good stuff where it was down on power, wasn't running right, and I think I even got some contaminated fuel on top of that. So I'm in the process of, I got new filters on it. I'm in the process of cleaning everything out because there was 2 filter screens that were just coated in this fine silty gunk. And hopefully we'll be back together this weekend, and then we'll try to get the system bled out and fire it up. See if it takes off on its own. Well, long and short, being decent with your hands, which would be a masculine quality most would say, especially when it comes to mechanical type stuff, has saved a bunch of people in my family time and money from waiting on another mechanic to be free to work on your stuff, to paying the other mechanic to work on your stuff. So it's come in handy over the years. And I am not a master mechanic. There are plenty of things that I have paid someone else to do because I either don't have the time or want to spend an entire day messing with whatever it is that's getting messed with. But I can fix a lot of stuff, and I could fix more than I do if I just had the free time to do it. So there's nothing wrong with being a manly man so long as you're not harmful to those around you, and there's nothing wrong with being handy, with being decent with your hands and being able to fix stuff. And I wish that more guys were learning how to do that. There are certain things that for safety's sake I won't do. I'm not that great at electricity. I can rewire something if I have the diagram to follow most times, but if something's wrong or needs changed, I'm out. energy isn't channeled into something constructive, that things go wrong. So anyway, that's about my thoughts on that for today. So a little shorter than normal. I'm getting close into work. I had to leave from a different spot today because I had to pick my car up from the shop. It did have an extended warranty, so why not take it there? Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you on stuff that you're curious about my opinion on or thoughts on. As always, be safe. Thanks for tuning in for another cruise with Smooth.